Hey everybody, it's John Hope Bryant. I'm live. It's Saturday morning. Voice is still a little raspy from the annual meeting last week where I gave everything I had. The Operation Hope annual meeting, go to operationhope.org or hopeglobalforum.org to check that out. So John Hope Bryant, founder, chairman, I see you guys signing on. Hello, good morning. John Hope Bryant, the founder, chairman, CEO of Operation Hope. Also, Bryant Group Ventures and author of several books, How the Poor Can Save Capitalism, Love Leadership, Banking on Our Future, and coming up in September, The Memo. Go to the Facebook page for The Memo. Please like the page and pre-order the book. Is coming out in September. What does success take? Why am I sweating? You see the sweat here? No, I didn't drop a drink on me. And what does this shirt say? My assistant, Sir James, gave me this shirt. Success is not an accident. And I'm sweating because I was working out this morning. Because success is going to take everything you've got. Hey, Matt Robinson, good morning. Samuel Robinson, good morning. Francisco, hello. Let me know what cities or countries that you're signing in for so I can get some know where you're at and give some love to your city and your country also. So what does success take? And why did I show you my shirt, and why am I online on a Saturday, and why am I sweating? It's all the same message, and it's also this symbol behind me, this art piece that my sister inspired me to put down here, Mara Hoskins. I don't know if you see this. This is you got the hand, you got the world in your hand, and you got the finger pointing straight up. Well, and it's also sitting on a desk that it's like a ladder. The desk has the sides have ladder steps on it. The ladder steps are your life. Once you get to success, you're pointing upwards for even more success. But as you go there, you're holding one hand to help other people up, which is what I'm trying to do with you, because all of us have the world in our hands. So that doesn't answer the question, though. Hey, Bronx, Uptown, Bronx, New York, signing on. Hey, listening from Phoenix, Lawan. But that doesn't answer the question. Hey, Twin Cities, Cedric, Scottsdale, Arizona, Francios. Let me get to the point. That's right. That's right. Somebody said, Vera Cook. Success is going to take everything we have. Deep. Okay. I haven't even said this yet. I love it. You guys are getting it. Success is going to take everything you've got. Everything you've got. But why are you surprised? Let's talk about raising your children. You have children? Any of you have children? What does it take to raise your children? To do it right. Everything you've got. You hear this music playing in the background? See, I can't do it, but he's singing his heart out, right? What did that take to make a song that has transcended decades? That song must be 40 years old. I want to say Sam Cooke, I don't think so. But because it's excellent. It's not good music, it's extraordinary music, but it took everything he's got. What does it take Quincy Jones to be the guy with the most Grammy nominations of anybody in the world? He's got to not want to make money. He's got to be in love with his music. Quincy told me he never makes any song for money. Never wrote one. He gets the best musicians, the best attitude, the best artistry in the same room. He sits down at the piano, he cracks the door, leave room for God to walk in, but he brings everything he's got. So why am I doing this on a Saturday? Because it takes everything you got. And I'm giving you everything I've got, even on a Saturday, because I'm working. I worked out, and now I'll be working. And yes, will I take a break today? Yeah, I'll take a break today. I'll do some practicing on my racing rig, because I do some auto racing. I'll do some reading in my library. I may even watch a movie later. I will have time for play, but work comes before play. Only in the dictionary does the word success come before the word work, because it's alphabetical. Repeat that to yourself. Only in the dictionary does the word success come before the word work, because it's alphabetical. So if you want this, and you want to be able to do this, then you better be able to do this, which is to work. If you want this, and you want to enjoy and spread this, then you better be able to do this, which is to work. And whatever you love, you're a baseball coach. You're a softball coach for your child. You're an athlete. Young people watching this, you're an athlete. You're practicing to become, a basketball player or a football player or your whatever your favorite sport is. Let me see if I can catch some of the notes. What does that take from you, right? Can you do that 9 to 5? Can you do that a couple of days a week? Or must you do like what you got to do to survive, and then on top of that, add a little bit more? Let me see. Edrit McNair, good afternoon, everyone. Garcia, trying to see if anybody wants to weigh in on this question. Hey, Rakita, my cousin, true words, bro. Saini said, Samuel Robinson, there are no days off on the path to success. Correct. Derek Smart, Quincy make it real, not kindergarten rap. Exactly. Quincy's timeless, by the way. Quincy's been in this game for 60 years, and he's still relevant today. Ambassador Andrew Young, still relevant today, but he works. I called him last night. How are you, man? I'm exhausted. He's 85 years old. How you doing? I'm exhausted. Why? Because he just got in from something, whatever it was. And where is he this morning? He's in South Carolina. They took him this morning to go give a speech, and he'll be back by afternoon. And then he'll be doing something tomorrow, because whatever you love is going to drive you crazy. You love your children, it's going to drive you crazy. You really love being married, and that is your mission center of your life, and fantastic. Then that's going to drive you crazy. You're going to want to divorce every Tuesday. No, okay, maybe that's a bit much. You want to divorce from your kids every Tuesday. Maybe you're going to want to divorce from your husband or your wife once a month, or once every 2 months. Yeah, and when that is a mission center of your life, you won't do it. But it is a natural urge to say, I love you and you're driving me crazy. You love your work, but it's frustrating. So I've had a situation where, and this is another video for another time, where people have confused personal with business. If I'm paying you, we're friends, we're boys, whatever, we're family. I'm paying you. Is that personal or business now? Hello, that's business. But people blend the personal and the business, and poor people, struggling people, folks who've never really touched higher rings of success, they make this mistake all the time. And they get offended because somebody wants excellence out of you. They get offended because somebody wants you to achieve the success that you said you were going to achieve. And when you don't do that, and they say they're disappointed in you, and they demand that you achieve that level of excellence, versus achieving that level of excellence and getting over it and getting to it, they want to get offended, get hurt, get their emotions hurt, get their back up, walk away, cop an attitude. And by the way, now you get walked off the stage. Get walked off. You don't get to play in the big leagues anymore. And so that's why I keep saying anger is not a strategy and business is not personal. Say that to yourself. Anger is not a strategy. Say that to yourself. Write it down. And business is not personal. Please say it to yourself and write it down. Anger is not a strategy, and business is not personal. Business is passionate. Business is wonderful, and it is certainly my people who work for me and work with me are family. But you got to separate a business decision and what's going on in your business from your life, and you got to risk not being liked in order to get the job done. Are you willing to do that? But that's not just with me. Again, managing that baseball team, managing that football team, managing that sports career, managing your household. If you are obsessed with your children liking you and feeling good about you versus you doing the right thing for your children, are you going to be able to raise your children properly? The answer is no. There are many times where I did not like Juanita Smith one little bit. The truth be told, I sort of temporarily growing up hated Juanita Smith. My mother, my dad, Johnny Smith. I'm willing to say it. God rest Johnny Smith's soul. But they realized that they weren't there to be my fan club. They weren't there to be my friends. You hear me? They were there to raise me because I was not their child. I was God's child. I am God's child. They are the sponsors, the trustees, the stewards, the facilitators for God to raise me, giving me yin and yang, love, support, confidence, safety, security. You didn't ask. The child did not ask to be brought in this world, and a parent should not be guilt tripping a child for raising them. If you brought them in this world, it's your responsibility to raise them. You're not doing the kid a favor. In fact, you owe the kid a debt, and you owe the kid a responsibility, and you owe God a debt. So my mother and my father took this very seriously. My mother told me she loved me every day of my life. She also whipped my rear end when I stepped out of line. I mean, I'd screw up, and my mother would say, go get a switch. And if I came back with a switch too small, you guys know what I'm talking about, some of you who are over 30 years old, my mother would go in the back room and get half a tree, okay? And And don't let me say, I'm going to tell my daddy that you beating me because they were divorced. Oh, you going to tell your daddy. I tell you, your daddy has not made child support payments in all these years. So every hit every word was a hit. So I learned to keep my mouth shut and just take the beating, and because it would be over soon, I can move on. My mother didn't play, and I hated her back then. I don't mean like literally, but I mean I did not like her at all. My mother went to go work in my elementary school. This is what success takes. I'm talking about raising a child now. My mother was laid off at McDonnell Douglas Aircraft, Boeing Aircraft now in Long Beach. She didn't whine about it. She didn't complain about it. My mother said, okay, I've got more time on my hands now. I'm going to go work back at the McDonnell Douglas when they hit a new contract with the federal government. But for now, the school my child is at has an opening for a janitor. My mother didn't say, oh, I'm not going to be a janitor, or how dare you talk about me being a janitor. I'm above being a janitor. She's like, no, my kid's at that school. I've got time on my hands. I need a job. Let me merge all that together. She went to go become the janitor at my school. Now, did I like that? Heck no, I didn't like that. But I remember that. I remember like the commitment of my mother to me. She was like all over me like a cheap suit. And I was more afraid of my mother in Compton, California than I was of the gangs in my neighborhood. And my sister, Mara Hoskins, she wasn't no joke either. She was my protector and my love, and still is to this day. My brother, Donnie Smith, Dave Harris took my whippings for me early on when I was really young. I was older. He's like, okay, now it's on you. But that's what we were protectors and guides for each other, but they also held me to the highest standards. And you need to both love your children and hold them to higher standards. We've made a mistake of raising our daughters and loving our sons, which means you end up with a bunch of women and a bunch of punks. Because a punk is not a man. A man needs discipline, structure, needs to learn how to work, get up and go get a job. No, you cannot live with your girlfriend the rest of your life. No, you cannot lean on a woman for your stability. No, you can't go out and call yourself a man. You're not taking care of your children. So success in whatever aspect of your life that you want to focus on is going to require work. And it is not a 5-day, 9-to-5 situation. Here's a question for you. I want you to answer it for me. Is it more important to be smart or persistent? That's the question. Is it more important to be extremely smart or persistent? Fraser Overton, yes. Answer this question for me. Hardworking parents, Mary Neely, exactly. Hey, Jennifer Mangon, who just joined. Jennifer, there's a special job coming for you. There's a special career coming for you. Don't worry about where you're working. Don't worry about all that stuff. You are brilliant, and I see it. The world sees it. My team wants to hire you. A whole bunch of folks. You just have very high standards. So success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. I'll tell you something else. I may do a video just on this. We had Hank Aaron at the annual meeting recently, and I unveiled something that I thought was common knowledge. It's not. Hank Aaron has a record for the most home runs in history. Do you know he also has a record for the most strikeouts? Did you know that? Right? So you cannot hit a ball you do not swing at. So he was impressed that I knew that. And he was like, that's really the secret of my success, is never giving up. Now maybe I just Yolanda, your voice still doesn't sound the best. Yes, Yolanda Frazier, I'm still a little worn out from the annual meeting. You're right. Okay, so here's the question. I asked the question: is it more important to be smart, very, very smart, very, very smart, with PhDs and master's degrees and all these learned skills, or to be persistent? Yolanda Frazier, I believe persistence, you can learn and become smart through trial. You're right, Yolanda. There's somebody else who said, Vera Moore said persistence. Yes, Derek Smart says both. Yes, of course it's both in some respects, Derek. But but Yolanda's more right. If you're persistent and you never give up, you can become smart. Everybody needs to go read. In addition to my books, go read a book called Outliers. Outliers. Go read that book. And if you don't like reading the books physically or have the time, get an audiobook and listen to the book. It basically says that 10,000 hours. If if you want to be the top NBA player, you want to be the top baseball player, you want to be a top entrepreneur, you want to be the best parent, you want to be the best baseball coach, you want to be the best hairstylist, you want to be the best manicurist, you want to be the best teacher, whatever. If you want to be the best nonprofit executive in the world, you want to be the best mayor, the best capitalist. You can't do it 9 to 5. You can't. It's impossible. And I'm going to share my personal manifesto with you guys here in a second. You have to have an additional part-time job, which means your excellence is your part-time job. You have to work 20 hours a week, part-time, for about 10 years. If you give 10 to 20 hours a week for 10 years, part-time, you'll become the absolute expert in your field. You are going to be the equivalent of an NBA player, and no one's going to be able to compete with you. No one, nowhere. You will succeed. I just gave you this. I just gave you the golden key to success. So persistence is more important than being very smart. And if you're persistent, you will become very smart just because you're compounding yourself with work and focus on what you're passionate about, and you can't help but be smart if you are paying attention. Does that make sense to you? Vera says golden nuggets, delicious. Persistence is practical education that makes you an expert, which surpasses being smart. That's Alpha Gains, correct. Joy Okiki, persistence, correct. Nina, Archie, persistence and passionate, correct. Let me see. Jennifer Mangon, thank you. Thank you. Leaving it to God and His path. Correct, of course. God never gave anybody anything else He wanted you to have. God never gave anything to anybody else He wanted you to have. And every time I have said I want something, I demand that I get X, Y, Z. Thank God I didn't get it because if I got it, I wouldn't have wanted. Sometimes if you get what you say you want, you won't want what you actually got. Are you ready for my manifesto? So I focused on whether persistence or being intelligent was right. Let me ask another question. Is it more important to be brilliant and educated than it is to have work and hustle? This is the question. Is it more important to be brilliant and overeducated and to sit around, pontificating with all your degrees, and I think education is brilliant, by the way, or is it more important to have the power of compounded hustle? This is the question. So he wanted me to have these kids. That's Colette. Well, if you're passionate about your children, Colette, yes, he wants you to have these children. So you hustle all day, Corliss Shaw says. Exactly. Work and hustle. Nina Archie says. Work, hustle, and persistence. Ricky Bug, work and hustle. They can lead to the others. Exactly. Now you're starting to get it. See, Frank Jordan, work and hustle. Colette Sherrill, work hard. That's why Andrew Young said that success is from the neck up. See what I'm saying? That the way you can eradicate poverty today is from the neck up. It used to be that back in the civil rights movement, back in days when you had structural oppression, and these rules work for everybody. But if you're a minority group, you had to work from the shoulders down. You had to run hard, run fast, either escaping somebody or escaping danger, or you had to beat somebody in order to get, you force yourself into the places where you think you needed to be, or you were working and walking and protesting with a placard for civil rights. All these were physical acts. Or we found success if you were a minority group through things that had clear successes where the playing field was level and where the playing field was level and the rules were published, like sports, like entertainment, like the arts, where either you won the race or you didn't, see? But the new success in the new civil rights era, which is more about being smart in the suites than the streets, than more about success through about class and poverty than race and the color line, where the new game is economics and money and prosperity and success, where it's not about surviving, because minority groups have been experts at surviving because of what I've already said. Now you got to become an expert at thriving, which means now you need to switch the focus from the shoulders down strength to the neck up strength. You got to think yourself out of this poverty. And actually worse, if you're now still working from your shoulders down, you're actually working against yourself. So all these folks who are just angry and upset and all this physical stuff and anger stuff, you're actually now working against yourself, and you're letting people, you're aiding folks who want to oppress and hurt you. Todd Tone Gilbert. Also, prayer without work does not work. I agree with you. I always say, if you're going to pray, don't. If you're going to pray, why worry? If you're going to worry, why pray? Bridget Washington. This is very good. I will let my son listen to this. Very good. By the way, you can replay this video. It's live now, but you can replay it at any time. Watch it on your way to work. Listen to it on your way to work. I think my folks, Jamie Nelson, I think you're on. Make sure that my podcasts are up to date. And we're promoting that podcast so you can listen to when they're not able to watch. Go to the video library for the Civil Rights series and watch all those videos every week, even the older ones. There's hundreds of those videos now, these little snippets of 10 minutes each. And do 3 a week with your family or with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your boys on the block, or the girlfriends in the club that you're, or the fraternity, the sorority you're part of, or whatever group you're part of. Watch it, get a group together and watch 2 or 3 of these videos a week, and really begin to break down your own success and why you're failing. There's reasons why you're failing, and it's not always the reasons you think. So, with your permission, I'm going to share my personal manifesto. This is personal. This is my definition of success and what it's going to take in my life. Is that okay with you? Let me see. I'm young with lack of things you speak of, but I have the ability of things you speak of with no schooling, so you can mentor me to gain or become more aware of my strengths. That is Onin Only J. Blaze. Yes, I will mentor you here, sir. Yes, I will. Okay? Yes, I will. Break down your own success. Bridget Colette Sherrill says yes. Okay, so I'm going to read my personal manifesto to you. Just give me a minute. Got to pull it up. This is how I define my own success, and it has never been shared publicly, ever. So here you go. All right. The John Hope Bryant Manifesto for Success. Let me see if I can pull this up. I have what you might call, this is my personal manifesto. Okay. Excuse me for not looking at you as I do this. I have what you might call a math problem. I have found my purpose. By the way, before I read this, when I wrote this, I had come to a conclusion that my family was the world, that I was a global citizen, that my children were the 2 billion children of the world who don't have fathers, who don't have role models, who don't have mentors, who don't know that success is not an accident, who've never been given the memo, who've never been taught how to succeed. And everybody else is focusing on their own physical family, which is beautiful. Who's focusing on the 2 billion young people with no guidance? Who's focusing on the 5 billion people in the world who don't know how success works? If everybody's just focusing on themselves, how do we ever solve our problems? And if everybody's only in their own little world, then how do we become a family? And if all we're is focusing on our own little pods and our own little home and our own little security, our own personal security and our own little community, then how do we create community? How do we drop down these walls and create bridges? And how do we become God's children and a family? Because I think that we're all family. And that's why I keep saying I love you and I've never met you. And so I decided to commit my life to my purpose and decide that my family was going to be non-traditional. My family is the world, and members of my employees are my family. What did Jesus say when he was asked, why don't you spend more time with your mother, your brother, and your sister? He said, who is my mother, my brother, and my sister? And the guy said, well, what do you mean? That your mother, your brother, and your sister are sitting over there? He says, no, my mother, my brother, and my sister are those who serve my Father, who do the work of my Father. So he was saying, if you're helping the least of these God's children, if you're helping to help somebody to help themselves, if you're helping to feed the humbly, to feed the hungry, and to provide shelter for the homeless, and to help people who want to be successful to become successful, to move barriers out of the way for society and to serve somebody other than yourself, if you are taking your own success up and then holding the world in your hand as you do it, then whatever goes around comes around. I'm going to reward you with better success and a better way of life and more peace inside of yourself, because those who give more get more, right? But so life's about what you didn't. God didn't bring you here so you can just go shopping and go to the mall and go partying and have a ball and then die. That's not the whole point. This is war down here, and this is about good and evil. And He put you down here and asked your parents to raise you with the tools you needed to be successful, so that you could become a force for good. How's that for something deep? So everybody was put here to change the world. Everybody. And I decided that this was the way I had to do it. And so then I had to create a manifesto, because I ran out of time. I couldn't do all I wanted to do with the time I had. So I ran out of time. So here's what I did. It's my personal manifesto. I have what you might call, and you need to write your own personal manifesto. I have what you might call a math problem. I have found my purpose and my mission in my life. It requires true believers. This is very important. Are there haters in your life? Are there people telling you can't do this? Are there people who's your chief negativity officer, your chief hating your success officer, your chief criticism officer, your chief negativity officer? Get those people out of your life. They call it love. They may think it's love. It's not. And sometimes we save our worst behavior for those we care the most about. We call it love, but we're destroying somebody else's self-esteem. We're putting them down. We're not telling them they can be successful. That's the opposite of what you need. So I decided that I had to have true believers in my life, true believers, and everything else had to go. All right, I'm gonna repeat this. I'm gonna read it now, all the way through without interruption. Bridget, write your own manifesto. Bridget Washington says, yes, write your own manifesto. Tell everybody you love this week, stop and write your own manifesto. This is mine. If you can see it, it's handwritten. See, that's handwritten on my iPad. Okay, here it comes again. I'm gonna read the whole thing in one continuous stream. I have what you might call a math problem. I've found my purpose and my mission in my life. It requires true believers. I also define what I mean here below. The book, The Outlier, suggests it takes 10,000 hours to master what many call the game of your life, whatever it is. Power politics, is that your game? Power athletics, is that your game that you want to master? Power brains, you want to be a scientist or a technician or an engineer, is that your game? Power business, power finance, power arts, power bankers, etc. But I don't want to master the game. I want to change it. To fundamentally transform it, to change reality, to be a positive disruptor of society, to break barriers is what I want to do. So if it takes 60 to 70 hours in a week, in a 6-day week, if it takes 40 hours a week to run a professional standard career, a 40-hour work week, if it takes 60 to 70 hours in a 6-day week, not a 5-day week, to run your professional life at a high level, and another 15 to 20 hours plus of study, reflection, and laser-like focus to supercharge that success. That's the outlier example I gave you earlier. The book, The Outliers, 10,000 hours in 10 years. That doesn't leave much else on the table. Thus, you need what I call a 120% life. And that's going to be probably my next book, 120% life. That's either that book or Playing God. That's going to be one of my 2 next books. By the way, that's my assistant, Sir James, coming in because he's working today too. See? It's a team. Sharmila was working late last night with me on the phone with me at 9:30 at night. Jason Stewart, who works for me in my real estate group, was here and got on the plane at 10 o'clock last night. Just texted me this morning. We're all still hustling. We're all still working, even though it's Saturday. Finishing this up. So James, I'm live, just so you know. You need 120% life, but you only have 100% of time. You can come on over, Sir James. I'm going to use you again. So you only have 100% of your time. So if you have a 40-hour work week and that's all you have, and you only have of 40 hours. So how do you squeeze more time out of that, all right? So if you have in the course of a week, I'm just making this up, 200 hours of productive time, how do you parse that time up? And are you wasting your time? Are you wasting 80 hours of that time watching TV, watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta or some crap, okay? This is a question. Are you wasting your time? Back to this manifesto. Thus, I need 120% life to do all that I want to do, but you only have 100%. This additional 20% must come from family, wife or husband, or my team, or a team. But it must come in a way that allows clear-headedness, absence of negative energy, and a positive reinforcement of shared mission. Did you get that? That's my mission. This is my personal manifesto, and I signed it from myself to myself. So I knew what my promise was I was making to myself. Now, Sir James, you guys know Sir James from other videos. He just stepped in here. He don't know what I'm talking about. Say hello, Sir James.
Hey, family, how are you?
Sir James Buchanan, who, as you know, is my personal assistant. And then you have Sharmila Freeman, who's my executive assistant. You have Rachel Doff, who's my chief of staff of 24 years. Love her. We have, who else in our senior team? Our little clutch group. We have Deborah Collins, who does my travel.
Deborah Collins,
who answers the phone all days, all night.
All times, day, night, weekend, right?
She's got a chairman's bonus from me because she not only helped me, but helped the whole team stuck in airports to get to the annual meeting because they were stranded at midnight.
Right, that's right.
And it's Saturday now. You're working, right?
Yeah.
What's your stated hours, Sir James?
My stated hour?
Yeah. What's your stated hours of work with me?
Well, you don't work until the work is done. You know, the work is done.
So his stated hours are whatever it takes, right?
Whatever it takes to get the work done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it does.
And do you resent that, or are you cool with that, or what's your deal?
Well, you know, when my perspective is always I serve at the pleasure of the chairman.
I didn't want to hear all that military stuff. Do you enjoy your work, or do you not?
Obviously, I enjoy my work. Why would I be here on a Saturday?
There you go. So he's not here because of some bludgeon torture. He's here because he's committed. He's hooked on excellence.
Yes. Yeah.
And whatever he's going to do it right or not at
all.
See, we didn't even have to, no coordination here. He's going to do it right or not at
all.
And are you black for a living?
Look, I'm black and green for a living.
Okay. So you're committed to excellence?
You're committed to excellence. You're committed to loyalty, integrity. You're committed to getting done what you need to have done in order for the business to be taken care of.
That's right. See, that takes no coordination. That's just common sense, ladies and gentlemen. But it's only common sense to those who got the memo. So James has read pre-versions of my book, The Memo, coming out.
Yeah.
Is it good stuff, Sir James?
It's great stuff. You know.
So I read my personal manifesto that you've seen before.
Yep.
Does everybody need a personal manifesto?
Everybody has to have one. It should, you know, not only it's not a legal obligation, but it should be a moral obligation
to
everyone.
Yourself.
Or to yourself. It has to start with self.
Yeah. Because when the plane is going down, the flight attendant will tell you, put the oxygen mask on your face first and then your child.
That's right.
Because if you can't save you, you can't save them.
That's right.
So charity starts at
home.
With you. So you can't help anybody else unless you help yourself first, and you can't help yourself first if you are lazy. If you want success, but you want somebody else to achieve it for you. I get these emails all the time, people trying to guilt me into helping them. Not only does that not work, you actually make yourself look bad. Nobody owes you anything. I don't owe you anything. I'm doing this because I want to do it. You got to have a sense of hustle, saying, I'm going to save my life. I'm going to be excellent in my life. I'm going to put all the work in. I'm going to take my 40-hour work week, which is required. But don't get mad with your employer because they want 40 hours from you. They're paying you a salary. They're paying you your hours. So they're keeping their commitment. You must keep yours. And then if you want to be recognized, you need to put another 5 or 10 hours in. The boss notices when he or she leaves the office at 5 o'clock, and you're still there. That's right?
That's right.
We always talk about it. Who's still in the office?
That's right. That's
right. And if somebody's there or is available at 8 o'clock at night, when you call them, when we call people and it goes to voicemail, do we notice it?
Oh, sure we do.
Right?
And we take note of it.
We take note of it. We don't call them again. Well, we may try 2 or 3 times after that. Okay. They don't want to be reached after 6 o'clock. Okay, that's fine. Right. That's cool. Spend time with your family. That's your mission center. But understand that now your family, get this now, your family now has become your mission center. It's become that your mission statement, and now your economics are going to suffer. Your other extracurricular activity, maybe your friends you're not responding to, all that's going to suffer because what you focus on grows and what you ignore withers and dies. So if all you're concerned about, the only thing you're concerned about is your wife, your husband, your family, and you turn your voicemail off, you won't return the phone call from your employer, you won't respond no matter what conditions, you have this rule, that's great. You're going to raise a great family, but understand you're only going to achieve but so much in your professional career because you're not giving anyone else any attention. And so people are going to then migrate to other ways, places, and areas to get their job done. So we have had consultants and advisors, whatever, who we've worked with, and after a while, them not being responsive, not keeping their word, not showing up for appointments, what do we do?
Well, we terminate the relationship.
And we go to somebody
else.
Is it personal?
No, it's never personal. It's about business first.
That's right. So, Yolanda Frazier, hi, Sharmila. Don't forget, Sir James, what I told you for HB to allow you to talk more during live sessions. Yeah, but it's my channel. So if he wants his own channel, he needs to get his own dang on channel. I dictate the terms here. It's very fulfilling. It's very fulfilling and rewarding. Sandy Lewis says, "Yeah, I love what I do. I love what I do. I love my life." And people say, "Why do you work so hard?" Am I working? No, this is fantastic. I mean, I'm getting paid to do what I do for free. Sir James if you weren't getting paid to provide service to people, to mentor people, to help, would you still do it?
Well, I think I still would do it if I enjoy it.
Yeah.
To me, the compensation is just the added bonus of providing the service and needs for others.
Yeah. So let's be real. I've got, Sir James is not, by his standards, independently wealthy yet. He can't just sort of do whatever he wants without. So he needs to be paid for his time.
Sure.
So I don't have to feel bad that I'm compensating Sir James. It's not like, well, he's less of a friend or he loves me less because I'm compensating him. No, he's got mortgages and bills and car notes and people bugging him for money and his family. So he needs resources every week,
right,
every day, to take care of his responsibilities. Does that mean that when he responds to me that I'm only responding to him because he's my boss? No, he don't respond to me at midnight because I'm his boss, okay? He could rightly say, I'm not available. But does it enhance his relationship with me when I call him at midnight or I send him 2 texts because he's trying to ignore the first one on a Sunday at 5 o'clock, when he responds, does this enhance our relationship?
Oh, yes, without a doubt.
No difference if somebody responds to him.
Right.
Now, Sir James knows this. If you really need something, am I there for you?
Always.
See? So that's the way it works, right, people. Success takes everything you got. So when you want to raise your children, what's it going to take? Everything you got. You want to be the best baseball coach for your kids, your Little League coach. What's it going to take? Everything you got. You want to start a small business. What is it going to take? Everything you got. You want to be an entrepreneur. You say you want to be an entrepreneur? Okay, an entrepreneur works 18 hours a day to keep from getting a job. Okay? Did you hear that? An entrepreneur works 18 hours a day to keep from getting a job. It's going to take everything you've got. You want to be a global business person. You got to travel the globe, which means you're not going to be home very much. So if your husband or wife married the postman and they want you home at 5 o'clock, there's going to be a problem in that relationship because you're not going to be home. You're going to be out changing the world and traveling the world. You cannot have it all and not do it all. Get that? You cannot have it all and not do it all. And that's why I love math. So somebody says, well, I'm about black power, or I'm about white power, or I'm about Latino power. No, you're about stupid power, because you cannot segregate your heart and integrate your pocket. You cannot segregate your heart and your life and wall it off from other people and then expect prosperity in your pocket from all people. If you hate me, okay, then my wallet hates you too. Okay? I'm not going to do business with you. And you're going to go out of business because you have segregated your heart and closed yourself off from your own opportunity. You need to be friends with everybody. You need to have the world as your tapestry so that you have the world who wants to be friends with you and the world who wants to do business with you. Did you get that? Okay. let's begin to wrap this up because Sir James is like, I didn't come over here to do a video, came over here to work, and then get out of here before you give me something else to do. Jennifer says, preach, alpha gains, woo woo, say that. But with most people, they don't want to put in the time. That's Roland Lockhart. Exactly right, and that's exactly why most people are not successful. That's the point. What does success take? Everything you've got. If you spend all your time at the club, you're successful at making the club rich.
Oh. Nobody loves your money more than the club.
You spend all your time at the racetrack. You're successful at making the racetrack owner rich. You spend all your time at the gambling casinos.
That's right.
Las Vegas is not getting larger every week because they have nothing else to do. You are leaving more money there than you are taking back in winnings. They are successful because they're separating you from your wallet, and you're less successful because you're spending your time, your energy, and your money thinking that Las Vegas and some lottery, or you're going to the lottery 5 days a week and giving them 10% of your income because you think that getting lucky is success. And by the way, 85% of those who won the lottery end up broke in 5 years because they didn't put the work in on the other side of their life, which is financial literacy. You see, all of this is connected. Sir James and I know some young people who want the easy way.
Yeah.
They don't want to put in the work.
That's right.
And you get them a job. I'm thinking about one young man in particular gave him a UPS job, and he quit because, I don't know, he was too hard. Or
2 hours into it, he quit on me.
2 hours into it.
Quit.
Do you know how good a job at UPS is? You have any idea the opportunity that is? Who are managers at UPS? They used to work on the dock.
That's right.
People working, making 5 and 6 figures. UPS came up from the dock. But they have great health insurance, great benefits. It's a great company with great stability. But this young man quit 2 hours in because they want me up too early. Oh, this is too hard. Oh, they got to lift stuff. It's boxes. What do you think UPS is? Okay, what do you think you're getting a desk job? But now, what's that person doing now? Struggling.
Yeah.
All right, we're done. This is the civil rights movement. This is enough for a Saturday morning. Unbought, unbossed, unbiased. Coming to you straight and no chaser from Atlanta, Georgia. If you want this, if you want to then support this, then you got to do some this work. So James, Ilana said I didn't let you talk much, so once you said the last word.
Well, I mean, again, I walked in on this. This is what I like about these live Facebook chat. They're unscripted, not directed, not rehearsed. It is what it is. Look, folks, the secret to success is hard work. Something the UNCF said, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I just like to add, a terrible thing to waste is indeed a good mind.
Whoa, boom. I love you. Sir James and I are about to get busy.
Peace out.
Peace out. Unbought, unbossed, unbiased. Coming to you straight, no chaser. From the civil rights movement. Go to the videos. Find others that you like. Watch those videos. Share them with friends. Like the page. Follow the page at John Hope Bryant live at Facebook. Let's get these likes up to 500,000. There's 26 million viewers in a year. Let's get that up. We want to get to 100 million viewers by the end of 2017. And go to operationhope.org and go get your civil rights. Peace.
Peace out.